Do you want to see the two most dramatic and exciting things that happened on the last Rachel Maddow show? It was right about this time in the show. We were doing a segment about the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy. Don't Ask, Don't Tell is, of course, the disastrous result of President Clinton's attempt to tiptoe through the political minefield of our country's ban on gay people serving in the military. President Obama has pledged to overturn that ban, but in the meantime, the military is still busy kicking people out. In January of this year, in the Army alone, 11 gay soldiers were discharged under the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy. So, last night on the show, I welcomed First Lieutenant Dan Choi. Right? He is a founding member of a brave new organization of West Point grads that's called Knights Out, K-N-I-G-H-T-S, Knights Out. It's a group that is fighting against the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy. So I welcomed Lieutenant Choi to the show, and shortly thereafter, two truly, truly dramatic moments. One spoken by Dan Choi, and one that I still can't explain. Color me paranoid, it was very weird.
By saying 3 words to you today, I am gay, those 3 words are a violation of Title 10 of the U.S. Code. It's a code that's polluted by the people who want us to lie. And basically, they want us to lie about our identity. And it's an immoral code. And it goes up against every single thing that we were taught at West Point with our honor code. The honor code says that a cadet will not lie, cheat, steal.
We are having technical difficulties, which is tragic even more than usual, because I think he was in the middle of a really awesome point right there. Hoping that our producers will get this back. Anybody can give me advice about whether or not Lieutenant Choi is going to be able to join us again? We could have him mime it out, but I think that would be awkward. So on the show, Dan Choi publicly announces that he is a gay soldier, a dramatic and brave and bold moment. And then we lost his audio feed, which was also dramatic, but also infuriating. Thankfully, Lieutenant Choi is back with us tonight. Here again, Dan Choi, a founding member of the Knights Out organization, a graduate of West Point, and Iraq combat veteran. Lieutenant Choi, again, my sincere apologies, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Well, it's wonderful to be back, and I think we all understand your agenda was just to make this appearance tonight the second time in my life that I actually wore some makeup, so I'll take the hit for the team.
I understand.
It's wonderful to be back.
My nefarious plan has come to fruition. All right. I understand that you are an infantry platoon leader with the New York National Guard, and as we were discussing last night, we were so rudely interrupted, by founding this organization, Knights Out, you are violating the Don't Ask, Don't Tell, the Don't Tell part of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Is there a possibility that you could lose your job, that you could be at risk of getting kicked out of the service because you're doing this?
Of course, and just like the 12,500 soldiers that have been kicked out since the 15 years of this law and policy, we really just find that as a group of West Point graduates, it's more important to do the right thing. We swore that we as officers would follow every order, and we would actually execute all of the orders that we were given, unless they were illegal or immoral or unethical. Now, what we see is that this law causing soldiers, the 65,000 gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender soldiers that are currently serving in active duty, causing them to lie, that is an immoral law. I think it needs to be repealed, and our group stands shoulder to shoulder with all of those soldiers that are serving their country selflessly.
Now, Dan, I know that you served an extended tour in Baghdad from 2006 and 2007. When you were serving in Iraq, when you were on active duty, were you able to be honest with the members of your platoon about being gay?
You know, I was very secretive, and I was actually very horrified of being kicked out of the Army because of who I was. And it made it very difficult because I loved being in Iraq. In the counterinsurgency that we're fighting, I would be able to go, because I have a degree in Arabic language, I would be able to use some of the training that I was given while at West Point. And I would go into a city council meeting and talk to Iraqi government folks and say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And those things go so far when you're trying to tell people that we are here to partner with you, and we're trying to teach the Iraqi government and the Iraqi soldiers that they should never subordinate their military. They should never support people that protect their country to a small interest group or a religious doctrine, because that will divide the people, and it doesn't protect the entire people. Now, one of the harder things was coming back from Iraq. Being an Iraq combat veteran, an Arabic linguist, a West Point graduate, I come back to America as a second-class citizen who is forced to lie because of this rule, because of this law, and because Congress has not yet overturned this, and we're saying once and for all, it needs to be repealed.
West Point grad, Iraq War combat veteran Dan Choi, thank you for your service and thanks for your bravery in coming out.
You know, Rachel, thank you for everything that you're doing to educate America. It's been a wonderful pleasure to be on your show.
Thanks, Dan.